is up, everybody? Great to be bringing you guys another episode tonight, Shorts on Sports with Brandon. Before we get started tonight, I do want to give a shout out to my boy Jeremy Friday. He's the one that hooks me up with all these funky beats that you guys hear, the intro, the background music. Jeremy's a producer friend of mine, and he really hooks me up with these things. And if you guys like what you hear, check out his YouTube channel. You can find him, The Programmer's Muzik. Muzik is spelled M-U-Z-I-K. If you can't find it there, you can also check it out. I got the link at the bottom of this right here. Just check the description and you'll be able to find that. Check him out. Everything he's got over there slaps, as the kids say these days. So much love, Jeremy. I appreciate what you do, man. Thanks a lot. And we're just going to jump right into everything we got going on. All right, so I got a couple things I want to touch on. I'm going to talk about the Michigan-Ohio State game and just how wrong I was, how that was going to go. And we're going to touch on the SEC Championship. There is one more thing I want to touch on real quick before we get started. And my goodness, that is Texas A&M and just the disaster that we see going on over there. And it's pretty embarrassing, in my opinion, if you want me to be real. So in case you haven't heard, here's what's going on. The coaching carousel has officially started in college football, with Texas A&M getting rid of their previous coach, which was Jimbo Fisher, in case you don't know. So they got rid of him and started looking for a new coach. Reports started last weekend, over Thanksgiving weekend, that Texas A&M was going to hire Mark Stoops from Kentucky. And when I heard it, I thought it was a great hire. I thought it was really, really good. I know that a lot of Tennessee fans don't like Mark Stoops, and that's just because he coaches for Kentucky. But let's be real. The guy doesn't have a whole lot of resources. He's a football coach at a basketball school, and he doesn't get a whole lot of those things that Tennessee gets or Georgia gets or Ohio State gets with his football program. But he constantly has those guys winning a fair amount of games and develops good talent into good football players. Could you imagine what he could have done with the resources that Texas A&M? Texas A&M has unlimited resources. Mark Stoops, I think, would have been a really, really good hire for them. But what did they do? They kind of pulled the Tennessee thing. They announced that they were going to hire a head coach on social media. And then, of course, Texas A&M Twitter just blew up. Everybody hated the hire. And I don't understand that part. So instead, they went with Mike Elko. Mike Elko's from Duke. He was the defensive coordinator over there. He used to be at Texas A&M. So to me, this is just another one of those weird things that Texas A&M would do to get one of their guys and just kind of cast somebody to the side, then get one of their guys. And if you're like, Brandon, stop. This happens every time somebody leaked a story to help Mark Stoops get a pay raise. That's false. And I'll tell you why I think that in a second, but I think that's false. If you look at what happened, usually in these situations, you're right. If they leak that, then you can get some, raise later. But Mark Stoops never got a raise. He is still on the exact same contract he was on to start the year. They never got him a raise. This was a real thing. They were going to hire Mark Stoops, and they let their fans talk them out of it. And I don't think it's a great idea for programs to let their fans run the program. You guys, you're in a position to run the program for a reason. Make the decision that you think is best for the program, not what the fans think is best for the program. The fans are fans for a reason. That's short for fanatic. Programs need to stop listening to their fans and just make decisions. Now, I don't know if Mike Elko is going to be a good coach. Honestly, I don't know if Mark Stoops would have been a good coach at Texas A&M. This is just speculation. It's just really silly that it seems like they let their fans make that decision instead of letting the people that run the program actually make that decision. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to move on from that. I'm going to dive in to the Michigan-Ohio State game. You guys know I previewed that last week. And just to get right down to the nitty-gritty, I was very, very wrong in a lot of things that I said was going to happen. This game was a really, really good game and a really, really weird game. After watching the game, I went back to look at the stats, and I realized that Ohio State won in every statistical category, besides rushing yards, but every statistical category. And they still lost the game. So Ohio State technically played better, which did not look like that at all. If you watch the game, Michigan was clearly in control the entire time, starting with the interception. I mean, Ohio State did not look good. I did not expect that out of their offense. Michigan looked very, very brave and courageous going out there and playing ball like they did. Ryan Day looked scared. Ryan Day just kind of looked like he was trying not to lose the game, and I never think that's a good idea. And it turned out that this game was decided by turnovers, field position, and the line of scrimmage. And to go over the things that I actually got wrong, I don't even know if I could tell you all the things that I got wrong. Like, it was a lot of things. So just to go over some of the things that I got right. I don't know if I could give you a whole lot of those either, but I'm working on it. I might have to get back to you on that because it doesn't look like a whole lot. I really was impressed with Michigan, though. They did look really, really good. I still don't understand the media's fascination with J.J. McCarthy. I've heard some people say that he is an NFL quarterback. I don't see it. I don't. I do have a hard time seeing it on the field. I do think he would be a good, solid college quarterback. I kind of have the same opinion on him as a lot of people had on Stetson Bennett last year. And, we still haven't seen what Stetson Bennett can do. I think J. McCarthy may be the same type of player, the same type of, success in the NFL. But who knows? I thought Stetson Bennett looked like a NFL quarterback. I probably could have been biased because of my Georgia glasses. But, J.J. McCarthy just doesn't look quite like that yet. I'll let you know if I end up changing my mind on that. I did think Michigan looked good, though. I thought they played hard. It was very gutsy to get that win without your head coach. I think that's pretty impressive. I really did think Michigan looked like the number 2 team in the nation last week. I thought they were number 1 team, however you want to look at it. I think Georgia and Michigan are just about interchangeable at this point. I would really like to see them match up in the future. I do think that's going to end up being a really, really good game. If they do, I think it'll be much different than when they met 2 years ago, but maybe we'll get there if they end up matching up later this year. So let's move on. The other thing that I wanted to talk about today was the SEC Championship. As you guys know, Alabama and Georgia are going to face off in the SEC Championship in Atlanta. And a couple of the wild, crazy stats going into this, we can actually get into those in a second, but one of the things that I thought was really cool is Nick Saban has never, ever lost in this building. I think that's incredible. I mean, I don't care what you think about Alabama. I don't care what you think about Nick Saban. That's an incredible stat to have never lost at as many SEC championships as he's been to. He's never lost in this stadium. That is crazy, crazy impressive. And I'm excited to see what this game is this weekend. A few things that I have noticed going into the game that, I think there'll maybe be a trend. I think you can kind of look to see these things and kind of get a grasp on how the game will go and what to expect. I'm going to start with Alabama, and I'm going to be talking a lot about defenses tonight because I think those are the keys to the game here. I think both quarterbacks and how they play are obviously going to make up who wins and who loses the game. With Alabama going to their defense, just looking at the top defenses they've played so far. So the top defenses they've faced have been Texas A&M, Texas, and Tennessee. Against those teams, they are averaging 265 yards passing, 89 yards rushing, and 2 turnovers, just over 5 punts a game. The stat that really, really stuck out to me, though, was Alabama was averaging 35% on third downs versus the top defenses they faced. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, if they average 35% on third down conversions on Saturday, they're going to lose that game. Georgia's offense is not the Georgia offense we've seen in the past. They can score a lot of points, and you cannot give them the ball. You cannot go 3 and out against them. Alabama's averaging 2 turnovers a game versus top defenses they face. Alabama cannot turn the ball over and give Georgia a short field. You cannot do that. If they do that, they're going to lose this game. Georgia's defense, the best defense that Georgia has played against Missouri, the best defenses Georgia has faced this year. Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky. So Georgia is averaging 335 passing yards against these teams, 153 rushing yards, less than one turnover, 2 punts per game, and they're at about 56% on third down. And that's pretty solid. I think if Georgia plays like that against Alabama's defense, which, I mean, Alabama is actually going to be the highest rated defense that Georgia is going to face all year. I think their talent that they've played the last few weeks has kind of fallen off. So I will be really interested to see how that goes and how both teams go. And there's so many things to talk about in this game. I mean, you can start here. Georgia beat Alabama last. They finally got the monkey off their back. They were finally able to do that. But the last time they lost was to Alabama in this building. Now they're on a 29-game win streak. Do they keep that going? In my opinion, the way that they do that is Georgia's defensive backs have to be on their game. And a lot of people keep talking to me, when I talk to people about this, a lot of people keep mentioning, Georgia needing to contain Milroe and make sure he doesn't run over the field. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing this weekend for Georgia. And for the simple fact, Milroe loves to throw the deep ball. He loves it. Bama actually ranks 6th in the country and plays over 40 yards. And I think that's directly affected with his ability to run. When he starts scrambling around in the pocket and trying to look for a receiver downfield, which he is really good at, it sucks people up to the line of scrimmage. Those DBs, the safeties, the star position, the linebackers playing deep middle, they get sucked up to the line of scrimmage, rightly so, because that's what they're taught to do. And he can find those people that are deeper down the field or maybe catch and run and have those plays that are over 40 yards. I know the guy that transferred from Georgia, what's his name? Jermaine Burton. He's pretty good at catching and running with the ball. He's a pretty fast guy, and he leads the team in those stats. So I think if Georgia's DBs can stay disciplined enough in coverage and stay in coverage and not allow Milroe to get these yards, not allow Milroe to find these guys open, just wide open, running around throughout the yard. Don't let Jermaine Burton or whoever it may be get behind them, then they're going to be fine. Georgia's linebackers are athletic enough to keep up with Milroe and keep him in check, enough to win the game anyway. And if you don't believe me, go check it out. Go look at it. 2 of the guys that Georgia is going to play at linebacker this weekend clock an 11.5 in the 100-meter. And in case you doubt me, Milroe also runs an 11.5 in the 100-meter. So they have the athletes to keep him in check as long as the DBs behind them, as long as they can trust their umbrella coverage and make sure that no one gets behind them and they can play ball. Which is a very tall task because Alabama is very, very good at throwing the ball deep and running with their quarterback. And I think that's the way that you beat Georgia. I do think Milroe's going to have to hit some deep balls. I don't think, even if he's running up and down the field, I don't think they're going to have a whole lot of success actually scoring touchdowns. Georgia's had trouble in the red zone, but I think that gets a little tighter around the red zone in this game because Milroe does like to run the ball. It's going to be hard to do with linebackers that can go side to side. So I do think Milroe's going to have a couple deep shots, and they're going to have to take advantage of them. They can't turn the ball over if they want to win. And on the other side, Georgia's going to have to force turnovers and make Milroe, run around and not be able to find open receivers. This is one of those games where you let him beat you, basically. You let him beat you with what he can do great, and you just absolutely take away his weakness. Just completely take it away so he doesn't have any crutch at all, just in case his strength is not working. I think that's how they do it. I think that's how Georgia wins, and like I said, I think that's how Bama wins. If you look at the spread, it's right. Georgia is a favorite, a 5.5-point favorite. That is up from 3.5 earlier this week. Let's see. I'm a Georgia fan. I don't usually bet on Georgia games, but being hard-headed, I want to take Georgia in this game. I do. I love my dogs. Like I said, I could see this going. I could see this game going either way. I feel like that's a cop-out, so don't quote me on that. Here's my prediction. I think Georgia wins. I think they're able to shut down Milroe. I think I think Georgia's offense is playing just a tad better than Alabama's offense is right now. I do think Alabama's defense has kicked it up a notch, which is going to help them play a little better. But in the end, I do think Georgia ends up getting a couple turnovers, and they're able to score on a short field, and that's going to make the difference. That's really what I think makes the difference. Georgia doesn't have a whole lot of turnovers, so I think they're going to be able to trust their offense, run their offense, and not really have to do a whole lot of things different. Even if Alabama, I don't think Alabama can take away both things that Georgia does really well, especially if Kendall Milton is running the ball like he is. I don't think Alabama's going to be able to take away the run and the pass. I think they're going to have to pick whichever one they want to take away, and I think it's kind of a pick your poison with Alabama. That Georgia just has too many weapons, and I do think they come out on top. So if I'm betting on the game, just take Georgia money line. I wouldn't even put up with the points. Take Georgia money line, and I think you should be good. And we'll find out. So I'm excited to review this game. If you guys want to hit me up during the game and make fun of me if Georgia's losing, that's okay. I want to hear from you guys. If you guys want to tell me I'm right, I'd be glad to hear that too. But either way, I hope you guys watch the game this weekend. I hope you enjoy it. And, hey, if you like what you heard today, then like, subscribe, comment, share it. Let your friends know, hey, this guy over here, he knows what he's talking about sometimes. He's fun to listen to, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But that's it for me tonight. Like I said, I hope you guys love this. And, hey, don't forget to check out my guy, Jeremy Friday. The music in the background coming up, that's him. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a good night. Peace.